Hello, New York Yankees fans. We have brand new exclusive videos and the latest news for you. Before we get started, we'd like to invite you to join our channel and give this video a like. It's crucial to get exclusive access to the latest updates. The baseball world is buzzing in a way that feels almost unreal, because when a rumor like this starts to circulate, it doesn't whisper, it roars, it shakes timelines, it dominates conversations, and it forces fans to stop whatever they're doing just to process the magnitude of what might be unfolding. The idea that two elite arms, Garrett Crochet and Roki Sasaki, could be heading to the same destination already sounds like something pulled from a video game franchise mode. But when that destination is the New York Yankees, the noise becomes deafening. Around the league, executives are reportedly stunned, scouts are double-checking their sources, and fans are refreshing their feeds over and over again, trying to understand how such a scenario could even be possible. The Yankees, a franchise built on ambition, pressure, and relentless pursuit of dominance, are once again at the center of a storm, and this time the speculation feels heavier, bolder, and more daring than usual. Crochet represents raw power and modern pitching philosophy, a left-hander with overwhelming stuff who fits perfectly into the current era of baseball. Sasaki, on the other hand, symbolizes mystique, precision, and an almost mythical level of talent that fans outside Japan have been dreaming of seeing on the biggest stage. The rumor alone changes the emotional temperature of the sport because it suggests a seismic shift in balance, an aggressive statement of intent, and a reminder that when the Yankees decide to move, they do so with the weight of history and expectation on their shoulders. What makes this speculation even more fascinating is the contrast and complement between these two pitchers, because on paper they feel like opposites that somehow create harmony. Garrett Crochet is often described as a product of modern development, a pitcher whose velocity, spin, and aggressive approach reflect the evolution of the game in recent years. His presence alone would signal a commitment to overpowering lineups and shortening games, something the Yankees have openly valued in recent seasons. Roki Sasaki, meanwhile, arrives in rumors surrounded by an aura that feels almost cinematic. Stories of his control, his composure, and his ability to dominate without relying solely on brute force have turned him into a global phenomenon. Bringing these two arms together would not just be about wins or rotation depth. It would be about identity. The Yankees would be telling the baseball world that they're building a pitching core that blends modern analytics with international excellence. Inside clubhouses across the league, players will be talking, wondering how they would prepare for a rotation that could throw completely different looks at them night after night. Fans would be imagining postseason scenarios. Broadcasters would be crafting narratives weeks in advance. And the brand of Yankees baseball would once again feel larger than life, driven by stars who represent different paths to greatness converging in one iconic uniform. The rumor also opens the door to intense speculation about the inner workings of the Yankees front office, because deals of this magnitude do not happen by accident or impulse. If these signings are truly in motion, it suggests months of quiet planning, strategic patience, and a willingness to absorb risk in pursuit of ultimate reward. Garrett Crochet's situation hints at a belief that his ceiling is far from reached, that with the right environment, coaching, and spotlight, he could transform from a high-potential arm into a true ace. Roki Sasaki's inclusion in the same conversation implies a bold international strategy, one that recognizes the marketing, competitive, and cultural impact of adding a superstar from Japan to the Bronx. The Yankees have always understood spectacle, and this move would be spectacle layered on top of substance. Executives around the league would likely interpret this as a warning shot, a reminder that New York is never content with incremental improvement. This kind of rumor fuels debates on sports shows, sparks arguments among fans, and forces rival teams to reconsider their own plans. It's not just about who the Yankees might be adding, it's about what message they're sending, a message that ambition still lives loudly in pinstripes. From a fan perspective, the emotional response is almost impossible to contain because Yankee supporters are conditioned to dream big, yet even for them, this feels extreme. Social media would be filled with disbelief, cautious optimism, and full-blown celebration all at once. Some would question how realistic it is. Others would immediately picture Sasaki pitching under the bright lights of Yankee Stadium, and many would already be debating jersey purchases. Garrett Crochet's arrival would energize those who crave velocity and dominance, while Sasaki's potential signing would captivate fans who appreciate artistry and international flair. Together, they represent hope, excitement, and the promise of relevance deep into the season. Even neutral fans cannot ignore a story like this, because it affects the entire landscape of the league. When the Yankees load up, everyone else feels it, whether they like it or not. This rumor reignites old rivalries, fuels new anxieties, and reminds everyone why the Yankees remain a constant topic of conversation in baseball, regardless of standings or recent outcomes. The strategic implications of such a move extend far beyond a rotation, because pitching defines everything from bullpen usage to lineup construction and even player confidence. If Garrett Crochet and Roki Sasaki truly join forces in New York, the ripple effects would be immediate. Bullpen arms would have more defined roles. Position players would feel less pressure to score early and often, and managers could plan games with a sense of control that few teams enjoy. Opposing teams would be forced to rethink series strategies, perhaps stacking lineups differently or altering rest patterns just to survive. The psychological edge alone could be worth as much as the physical talent. Players talk, and the reputation of a rotation can win games before the first pitch is thrown. The Yankees understand this better than most, and this rumor suggests they are leaning fully into that advantage. It's not about subtlety. It's about presence, intimidation, and confidence, all traits that have historically defined their most successful eras. As the speculation continues to swirl, one thing becomes clear: whether this rumor fully materializes or not, it has already achieved something powerful. It has reminded the baseball world that the Yankees are always capable of rewriting the conversation in an instant. Garrett Crochet and Roki Sasaki together symbolize possibility, ambition, and the kind of bold thinking that keeps a franchise relevant on a global scale. Even the act of imagining them side by side in pinstripes is enough to reignite debates about power, parity, and the future direction of the sport. Rumors like this don't fade quietly. They linger, they grow, and they force everyone to pay attention. In that sense alone, the Yankees have already won the moment, because once again, all eyes are on them, waiting to see if speculation will turn into something unforgettable. The second wave of speculation feels even heavier, because once the initial shock settles, the deeper questions begin to emerge, and they're just as fascinating as the headline itself. If Garrett Crochet and Roki Sasaki are truly aligned with the Yankees' vision, it suggests a long-term blueprint that goes beyond a single season or short window. The Yankees would not be chasing temporary buzz. They would be constructing a foundation designed to dominate conversations and competitions for years. Crochet's profile fits a timeline of growth, refinement, and eventual leadership within a rotation, while Sasaki represents a potential global icon whose impact stretches far beyond the mound. This combination hints at an organization thinking not just about wins, but about legacy, brand expansion, and redefining what a modern powerhouse looks like. Fans begin to imagine rotations stacked with contrasting styles. Analysts break down hypothetical matchups, and rival executives quietly acknowledge that the bar may have just been raised again. This is how rumors become movements, because once people start believing, the narrative takes on a life of its own. There is also an undeniable cultural layer to this speculation, particularly with the inclusion of Roki Sasaki. The Yankees have a long history of international stars, but each new chapter carries its own symbolism. Sasaki joining the Yankees would represent a bridge between baseball cultures, uniting Japanese excellence with the most recognizable franchise in the sport. That kind of move resonates globally, inspiring young players and expanding the reach of the game. Garrett Crochet's presence alongside him reinforces the idea that talent knows no borders, and that the future of baseball belongs to those willing to embrace diversity in style and origin. In clubhouses around the league, players would feel the shift, recognizing that the Yankees are not just assembling talent, they are curating a narrative of global dominance. This rumor becomes bigger than contracts and negotiations. It becomes about identity and influence, and that is where its true power lies. From a tactical standpoint, pairing Crochet and Sasaki offers endless possibilities that excite managers and terrify opponents. One brings left-handed aggression and raw intensity. The other brings surgical precision and an almost poetic calm. Facing them in succession would feel like solving two entirely different puzzles under immense pressure. Coaches would spend countless hours preparing hitters, only to realize that preparation might not be enough. The Yankees thrive on creating that sense of inevitability, where opponents step onto the field already feeling a step behind. This rumor feeds directly into that mystique, reinforcing the idea that New York is always operating on a different level. Even the mere possibility of such a rotation forces the rest of the league to react, whether by accelerating their own plans or bracing for an uphill battle. Baseball is as much psychological as it is physical, and rumors like this tilt the mental game heavily in the Yankees' favor. The business side of the sport cannot be ignored either, because moves like these ripple through merchandise, broadcasting, and global engagement. Garrett Crochet appeals to fans who love power and modern dominance, while Roki Sasaki attracts a massive international following eager to see him shine on the biggest stage. Together, they would turn Yankees games into must-watch events across time zones. Sponsors, networks, and media outlets would circle eagerly, recognizing the storytelling goldmine at hand. The Yankees have always understood that stars sell, but more importantly, they understand that stars create moments. This rumor suggests an organization leaning fully into that philosophy, embracing the spectacle without apology. It's a reminder that baseball, at its core, is entertainment driven by excellence, and no franchise embodies that balance quite like the Yankees. As fans debate the realism of the rumor, others focus on what it represents emotionally. Hope, excitement, and belief are powerful currencies in sports, and the Yankees trade in them better than anyone. Garrett Crochet symbolizes potential reaching fulfillment, while Roki Sasaki symbolizes dreams crossing oceans. Together, they form a story that feels almost too perfect, yet perfectly aligned with the Yankees' mythology. Even skeptics find themselves caught up in the imagination because that is the power of a rumor done right. It invites you in, challenges your assumptions, and dares you to believe. Whether this speculation becomes reality or remains a legendary what-if, it has already succeeded in reigniting passion and debate across the baseball world. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. In the end, what lingers most is the sense that something big is always possible when the Yankees are involved. Garrett Crochet and Roki Sasaki represent two different paths converging toward the same spotlight, and that image alone is enough to dominate conversations. This rumor does not exist in isolation. It feeds into decades of history, ambition, and expectation. The Yankees are not just a team, they are a symbol, and rumors like this remind everyone why. As the noise continues and the speculation grows, one truth stands firm: baseball is more exciting when the Yankees are bold, and right now, bold feels like an understatement. What keeps this rumor alive and growing is the silence, because in the world of sports, silence from powerful organizations often speaks louder than denial. The Yankees are masters of letting speculation breathe, understanding that uncertainty fuels engagement and keeps them at the center of attention. Around the league, insiders whisper that conversations like these rarely surface without some level of grounding, some spark that ignites the imagination of reporters and fans alike. Garrett Crochet and Roki Sasaki being mentioned together in the same breath feels deliberate, almost orchestrated by the gravity of possibility itself. This is the kind of rumor that players notice too, because athletes are always aware of the shifting winds around them. Imagine current Yankees pitchers hearing these names linked to their clubhouse, feeling both motivation and pressure rise simultaneously. Competition sharpens focus, and the Yankees have historically used that internal tension to elevate performance. This speculation, therefore, is not disruptive, it is energizing. It creates an atmosphere where excellence is expected and complacency is unacceptable. Even if nothing is finalized, the message is clear: the Yankees are exploring the outer limits of what is possible, and that mindset alone can transform a season's trajectory. There is also a romantic side to this rumor that resonates deeply with longtime fans, those who grew up watching eras defined by dominant rotations and unforgettable arms. The idea of Garrett Crochet developing into a centerpiece, while Roki Sasaki brings international brilliance, feels like a modern echo of past legends, reimagined for a new generation. Baseball thrives on continuity and reinvention, and this pairing captures both. Crochet's journey represents growth through opportunity, a pitcher stepping into a larger role under the brightest lights. Sasaki's potential arrival represents destiny, a talent seemingly destined for the biggest stage from the very beginning. Together, they form a narrative that feels cinematic, almost scripted, which is exactly why fans cling to it. Stories matter in baseball, sometimes as much as statistics, and the Yankees have always been storytellers as much as competitors. This rumor feeds that tradition, giving fans something to believe in, argue about, and dream over long nights filled with speculation and hope. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.